What if I told you that by the end of 2024, your life could look completely different? And no, this isn't a wish upon a star type of thing. This is backed by science and mindset shifts that actually work. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode. I am so happy that you are back. If this is your first time, hello. How are you? My name is Karina, and I hope that this episode might be maybe the first episode that you stumble upon from my channel, or I hope that you have been watching my episodes before. I am all about mindset and transformation and wellness and everything in between, always with a little bit of a sprinkle of magic and a little bit of sprinkle of science. So I sure hope that you are able to just enjoy whatever I'm giving to you, and let's go ahead and start. Maybe you have tried manifesting and nothing worked. Maybe you have tried everything across the moon to try to change everything, and nothing really stuck, or just just I can tell you right now, I have gone through so many books, so many things, and you have things that work, you have things that don't. So, how about we change that and we look into science as a way of changing our mindset and changing our lives so that it actually has a difference in the next 6 months? Are you ready? Let's get started. First, I want to talk about the science behind manifestation. What a lot of people don't understand is that manifestation, besides having the essence of the spirituality, of the wanting to do it, of the wishing, the wanting, it also has to do with science. There's a term called neuroplasticity that is really interesting, and a lot of people don't know about it. And most of those that do know about it, they're normally either in science based topics like medicine and psychology and all kinds of different fields. But at the same time, a lot of people don't talk about the ability of our brain to actually mold itself. And that is where the manifestation actually comes from, is the ability of reprogramming your brain into seeing something else. And actually, I have my notes right here. So if I do look to the side, please forgive me. I'm actually basing off of a study, and I'm actually going to look into it so that I don't get the reference wrong. So there was a study from, so it was published on the Harvard Study of Mental Training and Neuroplasticity. And basically, the Harvard Medical School found that when people visualize playing a piano, their brain activity changed in the same way as those who physically practices did. So, a quote from the study that I found really interesting is that the mental practice resulted in a similar change as the physical practice. So, the key takeaway from it is that your brain does not discern the difference in between visualizing it and doing it. So, it doesn't know the difference in between something real and something vividly imagined. I had spoken about this topic before in a previous episode where we talked about the physical transformation of things, where I talked about the ability of you combining the meditation practice of visualization with your actual physical workout, where one of the key takeaways that I told you was not only doing your workouts to change your physical body, so taking the action for it, but also taking the time that when you do your visualization practice to allow yourself to envision and imagine and visualize the actual process of you doing the workout. And that can be done for anything. And basically, this study proved that they had multiple groups. They had a group that practiced the piano and a group that imagined the act of playing the piano, and they both activated both of the centers of the brain that were equal. So there was no alterations of the center of the brain that actually processed that. So that allows us to prove that the brain has the ability to just adapt. And that adaptation is one of the keys to manifestation. So, what we can do from this point on is utilize that knowledge to be able to actually change and shift our lives. So, let's go ahead and figure out the blueprint for your next 6 months to actually go ahead and create a lasting change. So, the first step is to actually get clear on what you want, get the actual idea of what you want. For example, don't just say that you want money, say the exact amount of money that you want. And I wanted to bring another study onto this because this is actually a little brain hack. You have what is called the RAS, which is the Reticular Activating System, which basically filters the information that aligns with your goals. And I also brought up another study, which is the selective attention and goal priming study. It was a study published in the Psychological Science that found that when people set specific goals, their brain actively looks for cues and patterns that help them achieve it. So, one of the quotes from the study that I grabbed was focusing on a goal increases selective attention towards opportunities related to it. I really find that interesting because for those that read the book Atomic Habits, he actually mentions this particular study in a more simplified, not literal way like I'm doing it here. But the idea of the book Atomic Habits, one of the main things is if you set a goal and then you attach it to another goal, which is called habit stacking, when you do that, you have more tendency of actually doing the goal. So, one big example of that is when I tell people that they want to change their skincare routine, for example, and they have a hard time sticking to it. Pick up a goal that you do around the same time or around the time that you want to do it that you already do consistently. So, one example is actually brushing your teeth. Normally, people tend to brush their teeth in the morning and then brush their teeth at night. So, one big thing that you can do, for example, in that case, is you grab the act of brushing your teeth and then before you brush your teeth, you put all of the products to wash your face with and do your skincare right in front of you. And what you do is once you rinse your toothpaste, you immediately grab your facial wash while the water is on and you wash your face. And that triggers you to go ahead and continue the routine because you already started it. And this is also applicable to anything else. By setting specific goals, your brain is going to look for patterns and cues to help you actually achieve that. For example, if you really want to start working out, your brain is going to look for opportunities to work out, especially if you have a reason or a why or a goal that you really want, is going to facilitate the process. Another thing is the role of action. Manifestation and sitting around and waiting is just not compatible. A really big key is understanding that manifestation is not just visualizing, is also aligning your daily tasks and needs and wants and wishes to the thing that you actually want. So for example, if you want a new job, you got to apply for it. If you want to find love, you need to go out and improve yourself and be open to it. So, a very big issue here is that there are people out there teaching you manifestation, but not teaching you the fact that it's not just you sitting in a room, meditating all day, wishing and hoping and praying that you actually do it. One example that I can give to you is actually my own life. I really, really wanted to get into my college of choice. In case if you guys don't know, I am a science nutrition student. I am in my first year of college. And a very big important part of my current life was that I specifically wanted a very specific college for multiple reasons. It aligned more with my preferences. It was a school of reference. They had better teachers, better support, better anything. So for me, it was highly important to get into that particular college. And I wasn't just sitting around, not studying, not doing anything, not trying. It was a complete opposite. I was doing it so hard, but at the same time, I was doing all of the techniques of manifestation from journaling to visualization to meditation to anything and everything in between. because the key here is a combination of both. And because we're talking about studies and because I am a science junkie, I have another study, which was a study from the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology that found that visualization alone isn't enough, but combining visualization with small daily actions significantly increases success. One of the quotes is that participants who visualized success and took action saw higher achievement than those who only visualized it. Once again, as I said, it is the combination of both. We do see that people have a tendency of also achieving something with visualization, especially when we talk about practices like exercise or creative things like piano. But if they really want to achieve something that is slightly more specific and something that requires an action, they have to do said action. So the combination of both is a stronger reaction to your action. And that's what a lot of people understand is that is not just visualization. It is also with action, and that will give you the most powerful connectivity and the most change in your life is by combining both. Another thing is also what we call energetic shifts and embodiment practices. As you guys know, I am a witch. I love magic. It is my beach. I just completely adore it. It just connects with me in a way that I cannot even explain to you. One of the ways that you can utilize not only your magic, but also your idea of the world is called the quantum leap concept. Is the idea that you are becoming your future now. You're becoming your future today. Basically is the idea that the future already exists, that you just need to step into that energy. You basically have to act as if you already have it. So one example is by dressing and speaking and showing up as the person of that energy. So, one big example of that I give to people is when I wanted to become a college student in that particular college. What I did is that I visited a college. I saw how the people dressed in there. I saw how they shifted their lives to be in there, how the professors acted, how the community acted, how they acted. And then I shifted myself into that. So, for example, one thing that I noticed is that they were more into dressing casually, but with some like old money, old academia type of style. They had this thing where like they were very techy with their stuff. They had tablets, they had phones, they were higher quality. They had the thing with MacBooks, they had the thing with HP computers, they had the thing with Samsung tablets. And even if I couldn't purchase those things, I changed the way that I felt about my tech, the way that I felt about my clothes, the way that I felt about all the things to embody that. And also, I stepped into the mindset that I am a student. So when I would sit at home to study the stuff for the exam, I would sit and think, I am studying for the exam in college. I am studying for the exam in college. I would repeat that sentence in my head all the time. So instead of studying for the entrance exam, which has the mentality of I'm not in yet, I will study for an exam that I already have to study for because I'm in college. It is a different little shift that just creates a really big lasting change for your future by stepping into the mind of yourself in the future, but right now. Another thing is also the nervous system regulation. So, a lot of people have this thing where they are very stressed. And the reality with stress is that it blocks manifestation. It blocks you from being able to freely travel and dance in that precipice. And the reason for it is because stress keeps you in survival mode. And it's very simple the way that I can explain to you. Our brains, when it comes to stress, they're very all or nothing. They're very primitive. One big example that people give to me when I'm in class, when they want to explain how the brain sees it, is your brain does not know that the stress of you having an exam or the stress of having a work interview is not the same stress as when you were in the primitive ages running from a saber-toothed tiger. It doesn't know the difference. It will react the exact same way as if you're being attacked by a gorilla or a monkey or a chimpanzee or a lion. It's going to react the same exact way. It's going to release the same exact hormones. So because of that, your body just shuts down. And the reality with shutting down is that it does not allow your brain to accept new ideas because it's in a state of just survival. It's like, I need to survive. I have so much stress that I need to survive. It will only see the logical, very direct line as the only choice. It's not going to allow you to relax into the feeling and relax into the energetics of bringing more towards yourself and being more open. So, one study that I can tell you about this is research from Stanford University that shows that deep breathing reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, which helps the brain become more receptive to new opportunities and new ideas. So, one of the quotes is controlled breath work reduces stress and enhances cognitive flexibility. So, one thing that basically what it does is when you're taking a deep breath, it changes how your brain switches. So let me explain to you how. When you're stressed, and most people will answer with a very fat yes when you ask them this question. When you're stressed, normally your breathing is very fast. It's very much like, meanwhile, when you're calm, your breathing is it's slower. It's more like, so one of the examples is called the square breathing. The square breathing is when you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So it does a square. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. It does a square. If you actually apply that technique when you're stressed out, when you are having like a bit of an anxiety, when things are very like hectic in your life, it actually allows you to be able to slowly come down. Of course, is not an all or nothing. You don't do 2 or 3 breathings and you're back to normal. It's more like you are allowing your body to forcefully understand, okay, this thing that I'm freaking out, it's okay. We're okay now. And it will just slowly bring you down to the point that if you notice, also your heart rate tends to come down, your blood pressure tends to come down. Some people may even feel a little lightheaded when they start to do those breathing exercises because your blood pressure drops a little, because your stress is keeping you in a high blood pressure and your legs tend to shake, your heart is pumping. It's all just an adrenaline and cortisol kicking. And when you do that forceful breathing where you're actively choosing to just do those breath works and do those breathing exercises, it forces your body to be like, oh, wait a minute. Your breathing does not correlate to everything else. So we got to match it. So let's go ahead and match it. But you got to actually do the exercise and choose to go through that, because sometimes those breathing exercises, and this is my warning, it can actually lead you to a little bit of a panic attack sometimes, especially if you're in a really high situation. So you need to find which breath work works. There are some that are more for panic situations, more for anxiety. Normally, the square breathing tends to work for most of them, but please go ahead and search different types of breath works and see which one actually works for you. For me, I prefer the square breathing. There's one which is called I think is the uh, 784 or something like that, which is normally for sleeping. That one to me just causes anxiety because of the long breath hold. It doesn't work for me. But do see which one does, because there's so many techniques out there. You could spend like a whole afternoon researching all the breathing techniques that exist, and I'm pretty sure that there's one out there for you. So to close it off, you're probably thinking, but you didn't give me any tips. You didn't, wait a minute. You didn't give me a list to do. No, because the key to changing your life is not me giving you a list of things to change. You know innately what you want to change. You have your wishes and your desires and your needs and the things that you really want to do in your life. And there's no list in the world that I could give to you that it's ever going to help you achieve anything. I could tell you that you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep and you need to eat 3 to 5, 6 meals a day. And I could tell you that you need to reduce your stress. And I could give you a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 things that you could change in your life. But what will that do? You're going to do it as a check mark? It's going to work maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But then you're just going to stop doing one of them or stress is going to kick in. The key to manifesting and changing your life is not just me giving you a list of things to do, is you understanding why you want to do it, your reasons for the change, and applying them. There's nothing that I could tell you that is going to make you do whatever you need to do unless you choose to do them. So this video was to do two things. One, to show you that your brain, that your lovely brain is not working against you. Your brain can indeed work for you, and that you can do so much more in your life, but so much more by just applying some simple little things. But the key here is knowing and having the first step of realizing why you want it. And that why, like I said in the previous video, that why will be the reason that you won't give up, that you won't just simply stop, that you won't just die on the beach. And I wanted to bring science-backed things to make you understand that manifestation is not just praying upon everyone. Is you taking in the action, is you doing the work and doing the planning and doing everything while utilizing how wonderfully insane our brain is and honing in and utilizing it for your own good. Because yes, we can raise our vibrations and do our beautiful embodiment exercises that I love so much, and using our crystals and our feathers and all that wonderful magical things that one day I will talk about and bring onto here, because it's also something that will give you tools to get yourself also into that mindset. But as I said, it's to get you into the mindset. It's to bring you into the energy of receiving, of asking and receiving and letting go. Because that is the key, is asking for it, being open to receiving it, and then letting go and doing the action. Because the only way that you will be able to actually have the things is by doing the steps to get the things. But to do the steps to get the things, you need to do the first step, which is putting your mind into it. And you could call it mindset, you could call it manifestation, you could call it action taking, you could call it neuroplasticity, you could call it whatever names you want. And that was the point of this video. It was to show you that all of those are the same things with different names. And I sure hope that you do take what I said here. And believe me, I'm going to leave the links of the studies down below if you want to check it out and read it for yourself. Those are really, really interesting studies that were done. And I have one question to ask you. Imagine waking up 6 months from now and seeing that what you planned today is done. That actually you made it happen. And I can tell you right now, nothing is impossible if you combine everything up here with the action to do it. Because if you want something bad enough, You will make it happen. And yes, maybe it won't take you 6 months. And yes, it might take you longer. But if you compare your life 6 months from now, I can tell you something will change. Because every single time that I put my mind into something and I said, I will do it in 6 months, or I will make it closer for me to get it in 6 months, I can tell right now, 9 times out of 10, I did it. And those 9 was because I put my mind into it. And there was just one time that I might have just slipped up and gave up halfway. So go ahead and fight for your dreams. And whether that is through mindset or manifestation or action taking or a combination of all, I know you can do it. I know you can manifest the life that you want and you can fight for it because you're so strong. You are the strongest person that you will ever know because you know yourself better than anyone else. So I wish you a wonderful day. And if this episode resonated with you, leave a like and comment and share. And I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.